Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Well, today is the day. Yes, finally we'll be talking about marriage and relationship compatibility, how you can analyze your relationship with the help of Vedic astrology. So let's begin. Usually in Jyotish, there's a concept known as the Ashtakuta Milan, and compatibility is done with the help of this concept. So Ashtakuta Milan has total 8 points, and on the basis of these 8 points, compatibility between two people is analyzed. Now each of the 8 factors is given a score between 1 to 8. And total score is 36. So out of 36, you need at least 18 for good compatibility, for a smooth marriage. Well, some people think that Ashtakuta Milan is really not a very important thing. They think that Ashtakuta Milan is not a complete way to analyze the compatibility between two people. Well, you can say that it is not complete, but Ashtakuta Milan is not a useless concept. You cannot really ignore this concept. It is very important, okay? So I would really advise you that never ignore this compatibility concept known as Ashtakuta Milan. You should go for this before you get married, okay? Now today we won't be talking about Ashtakuta Milan. Today we will be focusing on certain planets and certain signs on which you can analyze the compatibility between two horoscopes. So what we will do, we will take the horoscopes, two horoscopes of both of the partners, and we are going to analyze the planetary placements. We have to see the first house, then sun and moon, and lots of things we have to really consider in order to analyze the compatibility between two people. We have to see the mental compatibility, the emotional compatibility. We have to see the physical compatibility. So today I'll be talking about some basic things. Though the procedure of analyzing compatibility between two people is really very elaborate, but today, yes, we'll be focusing on certain important planetary placements. So let's see what all we have to see. Before we begin with the compatibility analysis, there is something much more important which you need to analyze. And what is that? It is the nature, character, and the personality of your spouse. Why do we want to analyze the mindset, the behavior of your spouse? Because all of this analysis will help you to analyze how your partner is going to react or respond to certain situations, how he is going to take important decisions in life, whether this person will just run away from you in the times of troubles, or he is the one who will support you in one of the most difficult situations. So all these things will help you to analyze how this person is going to react, okay? So it is very necessary to understand the mental attitude of your partner. Now, how can you analyze the behavior, the mind of your partner? Well, ideally it is planet moon, because moon represents your mental attitude, your emotions. But there are two more planets which are very necessary to analyze how this person is going to react. So basically there are 3 planets which will decide the complex behavior of your partner, and you can also analyze these 3 planets to understand your own personality and nature. So what are these 3 planets? Let's see.
According to psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud, there are 3 parts of a personality: id, ego, and superego, and these 3 parts together forms our personality and complex behavior. It represents our basic instincts, pleasure. Therefore, it is the pleasure principle of our personality. It gives us the urge to constantly gratify our basic desires. It represents impulsiveness and aggression. whereas superego is the part of the personality which incorporates higher values and morals in our personality. It is something which we have learned from the society and our parents. So superego will always tell you to walk on the right path. Now, ego is the rational side of personality, which works on the reality principle. It balances between the basic instincts and the moral values. Planet Moon is the id, because it represents our basic instincts. It represents our identity, desire, and character. So moon forms our unconscious part of mind, which always seeks the fulfillment of its desires. Planet Saturn is just like the superego. It's a planet of discipline, restriction, and justice. So Saturn teaches you the moral values, how to limit your actions from doing bad to others. It provides you the standard of judgment. Planet Sun is your ego. It signifies your conscious part of your mind. And also Sun represents your soul. So Sun is the final authority which decides your actions. It ensures the demands of planet Moon are acceptable. It works on the reality principle. So it listens to both the Moon and the Saturn, but finally it works on logic, reasoning, and of course it works according to your soul. Because Sun is your soul and it knows that every action will have a reaction, and that is karma. Therefore, Sun is the moderator between the basic desires and the moral value. So, in order to understand the personality of someone, you have to analyze these three planets. So, the proper analysis of planet Moon, Sun, and Saturn can really help you to understand the basic nature of a person. If planet Moon is weak, it indicates that the person is totally driven by his basic instincts. If Saturn is weak, then it indicates that person thinks more about other people than themselves. This person looks at himself through the eyes of other people. If planet Sun is weak, definitely there's a lot of confusion in the mind, and this person thinks a lot before taking any decision.
Well, now you are very much familiar with the three planets which are very necessary to analyze to understand the nature of your spouse. Now let's talk about compatibility, the physical, mental, and emotional compatibility. How you can analyze all these things. Well, over here, by physical I mean the chemistry which two people share with each other. How these two people are going to interact with each other. And we will talk about sexuality, passion, love, everything later on in this video, right? So how to analyze the chemistry between two people? Well, the rising sign, you have to compare the rising sign of both the horoscopes. Suppose your rising sign is Aries and your partner is of Cancer ascendant. So it is not a good match, because Aries is a fire sign and Cancer is a water sign, and Aries sign doesn't go well with the Cancer. So fire and water, well, these two signs doesn't go together well. And in the same way, you can analyze your rising sign and compare it with your partner's rising sign. So the fire signs like Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, they go well with the air signs like Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And the water signs like Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, well, they all go together very well with earth signs like Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. So you have to compare the elements of the rising sign, and this will help you to analyze the chemistry between two partners. Now after that, you have to see the placement of your first house lord in your partner's horoscope, and in the same way you have to see the placement of your partner's first house lord in your birth chart. Well, this thing has to be seen in both of the charts, that is the D1 and the D9. It is very essential that you see these factors in the D1 as well as the D9 chart of your partner as well as your D1 and D9. Okay. So suppose your first house lord is in the ninth house of your partner, and the first house lord of your partner is in your sixth house. So this indicates that you might be very dedicated towards your relationship and you will do almost everything for your partner, but you won't get the same treatment in return. Why? Because the first house lord of your partner is in the sixth house, and the sixth house is all about enmity and quarrels. So therefore, this can create a lot of trouble in your married life or your relationship. So it is very essential that your first house lord should be in the fifth or the ninth, even the first house of your partner's horoscope. It is one of the most best placement for long-lasting relationship, a beautiful relationship. But it is not essential that it should always be in the fifth and the ninth house. The only thing you need to avoid is that your first house lord should not be in the sixth, eighth, and the 12th house of your partner, as well as your partner's first house lord should not be in your sixth, eighth, and 12th house. Whenever you analyze compatibility between two people, it is very essential that you really compare the first house and the seventh house axis in the D1 as well as the D9 chart. Just like the first house, your ascendant decides the compatibility, the chemistry between two people, the descendant, that is the sign which rules your seventh house, really decides the love, the passion, the bonding between two people. So just like the first house, you have analyzed the first house in your partner's horoscope. Okay, you have to see in which house it is placed, and you have to see whether it's exalted or debilitated. All these things have to be seen. In the same way, you have to see the status of the seventh house lord of your horoscope in your partner's horoscope. Okay, whether it's exalted, debilitated, whether it's in the sixth house, eighth house, or 12th house, or it's in fifth house, ninth house. You have to see this. So the first house and the seventh house axis is very necessary. We need to really compare and analyze this axis in the both of the horoscopes. Now, how to analyze the emotional compatibility? Well, for that, you need to superimpose your horoscope and your partner's horoscope, and then see the distance between your moon and your partner's moon. If your partner's moon is 6, 8, and 12 places away from your moon, yes, it indicates lots of troubles in your married life. Especially, there is no emotional compatibility. Your relationship will be all about fights and quarrels and maybe misunderstanding. So you should avoid such person whose moon is 6, 8, and 12 places away from your moon. And the best placement for moon is, of course, the trine. If your partner's moon is 5th and 9th places away from your moon, well, it indicates wonderful emotional compatibility and a long-lasting relationship. Anything would go, but not the 6th, 8th, and the 12th placement of your partner's moon from your moon. It is really not advisable. Just like planet moon, you have to analyze the planet sun, because sun represents your soul connection. It represents your spiritual connection between two people. So you have to see where is your partner's planet sun is placed. Again, you have to see whether it's placed 6th and 8th, 12 places away from your sun. Of course, it's not a good placement. And if it's in the trine and other than 6, 8, 12, things will be much better. The connection, the bonding between the two people will be very strong. Okay. Now suppose your partner's certain planet is aspecting your moon, or it is in conjunction with your moon. It can also alter your relationship. So if your partner's sun has some kind of connection with your moon, then actually it's a very good placement for a strong emotional attachment and bonding, because sun is the masculine energy. It represents masculine energies. Moon represents the feminine energy. So therefore, it's a very good placement. Okay. If your partner's Mars has some connection with your moon, of course, it indicates that your partner is very aggressive and you two people may fight very often. Sometimes you'll be just behave like a normal couple, that everything is fine, and suddenly you'll start fighting. Then if Jupiter is having a connection with your moon, then of course it will be a very beautiful relationship. Your partner will take care of all your needs, okay? He will just help you out in all the troubles. If Ketu has some connection, if your partner's Ketu has some connection with your moon, I'm sorry, it can be really troublesome. This person can be, this person can be one of the most difficult person for you to understand. It is very difficult to understand your partner. If Saturn is aspecting your moon, or if your partner's Saturn is in conjunction with your moon, again the relationship will be very difficult. But I cannot say that your relationship will be very weak, but yes, there can be certain problems and compatibility issues, but they can be resolved. It is not a quite difficult situation. So this is how you can really analyze that if your partner's particular planet is aspecting your moon, or it is in conjunction with your moon. You have to really analyze. Moon is one of the most important planet you need to analyze to understand the compatibility.
And lastly, we have to analyze the physical compatibility. How to see that spark, love and passion which binds two people together in a relationship. Well, the two planets which represents love and passion are Venus and Mars. So if the Mars of the woman's chart is in conjunction with the Venus of a man's chart, or even if the Mars of the woman's chart aspects the Venus of the man's chart, it represents a very close bonding between two people. It shows the love and passion for each other. In the same way, you can see the Venus of a man's chart should aspect the Mars of the woman's chart, or it should be in the conjunction with the Mars of the woman's chart. This indicates that the spark which keeps two people together, and no matter how difficult things are, these people will always be together.
So guys, this is it for today's video, and there's much more to be discussed regarding marriage and relationship compatibility. So do subscribe, because there's much more to come on this channel. So stay tuned. Goodbye.